I am a financial independent woman, 8-figure net worth, and I spend a lot of time on social media. So there's a lot of other me's out there. One of the coaches that I referred me someone else, and that ended up being a $6 million relationship all through Instagram.
This podcast is for advisor use only and not to be distributed to the public. The Wealth Consulting Group is an SEC registered investment advisor, and the opinions voiced and contents in this podcast are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. All performance referenced is historical and is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. The economic forecasts set forth in this material may not develop as predicted, and there can be no guarantee that strategies promoted will be successful.
Welcome to this episode of the Bull of Wall Street. Super excited today because I've got one of my friends and one of the most successful financial advisors that I know, Julia Carlson, on our podcast today. She is the founder and CEO of Freedom Financial Wealth Management Group out of Newport, Oregon. They actually have 4 offices. Julia also owns a tax business called Freedom Tax, I believe. Is that right?
That is correct.
And, right. So that's a tax preparation and planning business as well. So she offers a very comprehensive planning service. She's also an author. She's written several books. Let's Get You Fired is the most recent one. I've seen her image on the billboard at the NASDAQ at the New York, in New York City in Manhattan. As an author, and the first one I believe is called Money Loves You.
That's right.
Yep, author. She's also a coach. She coaches entrepreneurs. She coaches women entrepreneurs, and she's passionate about giving back and coaching. And one of the other neat things that we're going to talk about is kind of a little bit about her purpose. I'm going to let her describe it later on, but 1 billion for good. Okay, so it's as we prep for this call, asked her a few questions about that. And a lot of her coaching and things that she does where she's giving of herself is for this philanthropy and helping others and giving back. So with that, I can tell you that I was extremely surprised and almost shocked when she told me that when she moved her business to LPL Financial in 2009, she had about 25 million of assets under management. Today, I think yesterday she said she was at 636, but after today, it's probably more like 650 or more.
I think you're right.
That's incredible growth. And so I think a lot of the listeners and the people that are going to watch want to understand how you do that. She has a big team. She has 20 employees across her wealth management and tax businesses. I know some of those employees cross over because they're working with the same clients, I think. But one of the other things that she's done, and I've heard her talk about this, is she's made herself, I wouldn't say obsolete at all, because she's all over the place. And but she's made it so that her business can run without her, right? And I think that's a lot. Those are a lot of the concepts and principles. It's a main core principle, on what you teach other entrepreneurs. And maybe we can start there, Julia, in terms of how you've built this incredible team from where you were in 2009, fast forward to today.
Yes. Well, thanks for having me, Jimmy. I'm happy to be here. And it's been a long journey. I feel like I've grown up in the wealth management industry, and it's, it hasn't come easy. It's been a lot of trial and error, but I'm persistent and resilient. And so I kept going when it got tough. But I learned early on that I couldn't do it all myself. Number one, I'm not the smartest person in the room. And I have a big vision to help a lot of people. And so as much as I wanted to do it all by myself, I learned through a lot of hard situations that I couldn't do it all, and actually was forced to stop because of my daughter's accident. I don't know if you've heard that story, but that was like a pivotal moment in my career where I felt like I was deciding between being a mom and being a business owner, and choosing being a mom. I thought everything would fall apart, but actually stepping out of my business and being a caregiver when she needed me the most, other people in my business stepped up, and I saw the magic of what a true team can do. So.
Wow, it's amazing. Now, I don't really know that story, but it sounds like with your daughter that you were not forced to, but decided to not be able to work quite as much, maybe in the office or something like that? Or tell us a little bit more about that
Yeah.
part of it, I guess.
Yeah, so that was back in 2013. I think we had about 4 employees. I was the solo advisor, and I had a support admin team supporting me. But at that point, if I painted the picture, I had 3 kids under 9. I had 2 offices, 2 hours away from each other. And so at least one day a week, I would spend 12 hours, 2 hours driving, 2 hours back, and a day full of appointments. And then, so it would be nothing for me to run 30 appointments a week. It
Wow.
was, and then I would put the kids to bed and I would work from 9 to midnight. It was, and that's when we did paper applications. So it was
Wow.
chaotic, but at the same time, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm being successful. I have a team, like I'm growing. And we were actually entertaining clients on a cruise, on a boat cruise, a evening boat cruise. And at the end of the night, I got to my phone and realized I had missed all these calls, and I learned my parents and daughter were hit head on by a drunk driver.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and my daughter was being life flighted to a Portland hospital, and so I got there where we stayed in ICU for the next week. And in the ICU, I'm there by her side, but I also was making my assistant bring me my computer so I could do trades, so I could keep up with all the work, because I had made myself so relevant in my business. And so thankfully, thank God, my daughter made a recovery. We brought her home from the hospital, but she needed me to be there. And that's when I couldn't come to the office for that summer and really wanted to be home taking care of her. And that's when I realized the team really stepped up all around me. And I was actually in the way. I was the bottleneck. I wasn't allowing them to help. And so now I look back on that and connect all the dots, and it was like I had to fire myself from doing it all. And at that point, we hired someone about within a year of that accident, we hired another advisor. So I wasn't the only advisor. And within 18 months of that accident, I was about 750 in revenue, and we doubled to like 1.8 million during that time frame. So it was like a huge jump because I was not the only one producing anymore. And that was pivotal for me. As hard as it was to let go, the more the more that I could trust others, the more that we could serve our clients with a team-based approach, the better the results got. And so I just really leaned into that over my career.
That's amazing. Wow. And I think you said you've got 6 other advisors, or is it 6 including you now?
6 other advisors.
And then did you also say that you have meetings with clients one afternoon per week now? Is that?
That's right. Yeah. So I meet with the clients, the relationships that I've held on to. I meet every Wednesday afternoon. So basically from noon to 5 are my client days. It makes it really easy. That's when I'm focused on client work, and my team is amazing. I don't field a lot of calls. If something important happens, I'm there. But for the most part, I am that advocate for my clients, where I come in if there's a death, a business exit. If there's a big decision on the table, that's where I do my best work. And we have an investment team that does the investments. We have someone that does all the administration and the paperwork. I don't know how to open accounts anymore. I don't know how to trade. And that's a good thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your other business. I had written down some notes too about Freedom Business Solutions. What does that do, that company, and how does that help you with your wealth management business?
Yeah. So the way I think about it is I'm building this Freedom branded, Julia Carlson branded ecosystem where we have the core business, which is the wealth management, but then we have the Freedom Tax, like you mentioned, and then Freedom Business Solutions. And that's essentially serving business owners. We offer fractional executive services. It's the services that I wish I had when my daughter was in her accident. I was navigating all that, and I didn't know how to be a better business owner. So I had to go on this journey to learn all of that. And now that's what I want to give to my entrepreneurs, to really help them, get out of their own way, grow and scale, feel like they have an advocate, they have a partner that they can come to, because, you know, when you're in that hustle phase of business, it can get lonely. And it's like, you want those partners to like, how do I manage people? How do I hire? All, you know, all those questions. So we are that support to the business owners. And, you know, it's funny because I started doing it under financial planning, and LPL was like, what's all these like engagements coming through, Julia? Because we charge like a retainer, like $5,000 a month for these services. And they were like, well, what are you actually doing? And so they said, well, this is actually outside business activity, because we're actually giving advice to the business, not necessarily to the business owner, which is kind of the separation. And so even though we look at P&Ls, we do CFO services, we do that executive support, it's at a business level, not the individual. So what we have found, it's like we want to holistically help entrepreneurs, and we need these services to do that. So
That's amazing. So I'm assuming some of those clients of that business also become wealth management clients eventually.
Mm-hmm. And vice versa. Like these are services that are newer, so we can come back to our financial freedom business clients and offer those extended services.
Let's talk about something else you do. Julia is very busy. She also runs a mastermind. It's a women's coaching retreat kind of program, I think. Can you talk about that and how you help the women that are involved with you there?
Yeah. So when I first started coaching, it was primarily just other women financial advisor firms. And although I love that, I wanted to expand it to just entrepreneurs. And so right now we have it's a 6-month mastermind program. Typically they are 6-figure, probably about 4 of them are 7-figure entrepreneurs, but really trying to raise the bar, go to the next level. How do I hire? How do I create my culture? How do I think about finances and tracking? Like there's just a lot of knowing your numbers is huge in business. And so we meet every week and we go through an agenda of that I've prepared. And it's really fun to see these women win. And part of that experience is a retreat. And so we actually just bought a mountain retreat home in Eastern Oregon. So
wow.
Yeah, I'll have my first retreat there in October.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
So as everybody can hear or see and see, she is very, very busy while growing this financial planning, advisory, wealth management business very fast over this time period. And my bet would be is that it's going to continue to compound at maybe even higher growth rates, even though there's a huge business now that you've created. If we get back to the wealth management side, though, is it a typical financial planning process? Do you do planning for most of your clients? Do you wrap that into an asset management fee, or how does that work?
Yeah, so just a side note, like 2026 year to date, this is our biggest year yet, which is really exciting to see. Yeah, super fun. And the neat thing is I'm not driving it. It's our team driving it. So it's pretty exciting. But yeah, so we have a very defined process that we take clients through. It's probably much like similar. We have a discovery process. We have a tailored solution. If a client has assets, we basically don't like to say that we have minimums, but on the backstage, if you will, we have what's called a minimum revenue for us. So for a client to be profitable with us, we need to make about $2,500 on a household. And so if they're under that, then we just offer we call it Inspired Wealth, which is a financial coaching program that allows them to meet with an advisor 4 times a year. And we would open accounts for them as well and help them build that wealth. We serve the mass affluent in a lot of our wealth management. Like we're carving this niche out for serving entrepreneurs now, but when I was building the business, it was like, hey, let's just bring on anyone and everyone. And, now we've had to put some parameters and boundaries on that. But our heart is to serve and help clients that want to be helped. And so We just have that retainer model to get them to where they need to be, and then we'll switch them over to asset management.
I think a lot of us, that's how we started our business, right? We worked with anybody that would work with us.
Yeah.
And then what I thought was interesting that you said was that after a while, you had a lot of these households and you did a study of your business.
Yeah.
And you realized that you needed to earn a certain amount of revenue in order to be profitable at not even a good profit margin, but not like crazy. And can you tell us about how you did that? Because I think a lot of advisors are in that situation today. They don't do enough work in terms of understanding what it takes to have a profitable relationship and thus be able to give the kind of service that their client that they need to give to their clients. And then sometimes the clients don't end up getting a lot of service because of that. So can you tell us how you did it?
Right. Yeah, so this was a couple years ago, and we basically took our total expenses for the firm, our payroll, our office expenses, all the expenses, which was millions, and we divided it by our households. And so the number was $1,800. So it basically, a cost of a household was $1,800. And then we're not a nonprofit, so I took the standard profit margin in the industry, which is 30%. I will caveat that with, if you're building a business, like, there's a lot of lifestyle advisors that have a 50, even 70% profit margin, but their goal is not really to build, a practice and an enterprise and a big firm. So for me, my goal is always to grow and reinvest and hire. So the goal for us is a 30% profit margin. So I added that, and that's $2,500. So basically I said, okay, looking at our book, where's the profit line? And there was 800 relationships under the profit line.
Wow.
So then we had to go through and say, okay, are these next gen clients, which in a lot of cases they were legacy, and we want to keep those and we want to serve those. But in a lot of cases they weren't. And so we then presented those relationships that weren't profitable and didn't have a connection with either, hey, you can be a part of our financial coaching program, you can bring more assets into our firm, or you're going to be serviced really well by the wealth advisor group at LPL. So we did save some. So some of them decided to move forward with one of those options, but the majority, we moved then to the wealth advisor group. So that really helped. I feel like this was the first tax season after that transition. Tax season is always our busiest time. And I feel like the last year was pretty chaotic because, of course, the people, each client that needs that tax support is they're asking for the forms and all of that. And so I just felt like this year went so much smoother and less chaotic. And I think it's because we don't have as many households. And I'll also say from a team perspective, it was hard because we've had the war cry of saying, hey, we help anybody that wants to be helped. We don't have minimums. But the team came to, like, a year ago, they were like, hey, we're struggling. Like, we need to hire more people. We're busy. We're overwhelmed. And I looked at the numbers and I'm like, the numbers don't tell me that it's time to hire yet. Because another metric you should know in your business is how much revenue per employee. And then that way, so if, like, we should be up, about 700,000 in revenue, and that tells me it's okay to hire about 2 people in 2026. So if you know these numbers on your business, and in the industry, it's like, 300, 350 per revenue for one additional hire. So that's helpful to know. But it's like knowing these numbers and digging in allows you to really tell the story of your firm. And if you want to grow, you have to know those numbers.
I wanted to ask you about your tax business, because that's one of the things that we're thinking about offering to clients at our firm on a nationwide basis. And I feel as if, and I've talked to other firms that offer tax, like some large RIAs, and they say that it's the most difficult part of their business. It's not high profit margin. And most of the ones that take them up on it are the kind of the less sophisticated ones that aren't the most complicated. The most complicated might have a good CPA that they're working with. But have you found it to be something that makes it more sticky, the wealth management business, to be able to have the tax in-house? Or also, is it a good lead generation tool? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so we actually had one person today, or not today, but this tax season that came to Haley's our tax provider, and she had noticed this was a referral in for tax first, and she had noticed that they use LPL, but we were not the advisor.
Mm,
And it turned out this was a $3 million account
mm.
with Wealth Advisor Group. So it was with the basically LPL's account. And so all we had to do is change advisor. And now she got a new $3 million client from doing taxes. Like they wouldn't have come to us. They came to us for taxes. So it's a really interesting entry point, especially if you teach your team how to read tax returns, because then you a lot of things for clients show up that they don't always tell us about. And so, but also from the other way, so for a lot of our wealth clients that become tax clients, yes, it's like all in-house. We have the right sharing, the PI, the right forms on file so we can share information. Like we can make it super easy for those clients to do business with us. And they pay for that separately. So that is revenue to the tax business. But we have found it's not necessarily it's amazing as advisors learned tax business, like they don't have the profitability like us, they don't have the revenue like us. I feel like we're very blessed in our industry for the way that we can build business and build valuable businesses where CPAs just aren't structured like that. But again, it's the delivery to the end result to the client is, I think, a full comprehensive service that's very sticky.
That's awesome. As far as tech stack goes, when it comes to financial planning, what do you use?
We use eMoney.
Okay.
Yep. And then we use Salesforce as well.
For CRM. And then do you use Holistiplan for tax planning?
Yeah, we use Holistiplan.
Good.
Yeah.
Any other technology that you've used in the last few years or something you've picked up that's really helped out? Or are you using Jump AI or any AI tools yet?
Yeah, we've adopted Jump AI for sure. And that's been game changing for sure. That's been great. And then Slack has been really powerful for us as a team. Yeah. So it's just a more efficient way to communicate with team members rather than email.
Yeah. Okay. How about business development? What have been the most effective ways for you guys to get new clients?
Yeah, so because we have had like a good client base for a while, we get a lot of clients through referrals. And when we do get referrals, we have a way to thank the person that has referred them. So we have like a very generous client base, I would say, but we also do client appreciation events. So at least once a year, a common event we do is we're on the beach. So we take over the local Oregon Coast Aquarium. And I mean, we've had 300 plus people at the aquarium. It's
Wow.
like a night, it's after hours. So it's super fun. And then close to our other office, we do like a barbecue, a picnic, and literally families will RSVP like 18 people for their families. Cause it's just like we bring in food trucks, the ice cream truck, the big blow up bouncy, and we play games. So it's just a lot of fun. And then we pivoted to webinars during the pandemic, and we never really brought back educational, workshops, seminars. And so we're actually next week, we have two workshops we're doing for women. And I'm going to lead that. And then I actually have a color specialist coming in. So I got this idea from another advisor that it was super successful, called Color Your Confidence. So it's like a color matching color specialist. Women love this. And then I am going to talk about 5 financial habits of confident women. So just again, it's a playful way to get in front of clients. And then also we're encouraging, almost all of them are bringing a friend. And so I think we have close to 100 RSVP'd for that.
Oh my gosh. So you invited clients and you encourage them to bring their friends, and that's you're getting a lot of prospects naturally at these events. And so so you do marketing. That's awesome.
And
I
then
know.
social media.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep talk about that because you're. I know. I mean, for those of you that don't know, I mean, I follow Julia on LinkedIn, and she's got her one of her women's coaching businesses, the juliacarlson.com website,
Yeah.
and so she's posting all the time. She's very active. Talk to us about that.
Yeah. So one thing I enjoy social media, so that's important to share because I realize some people that's not their sweet spot. And I would say, don't do anything you don't love. So I enjoy it. I love to create. And so I post every day on social media. I do have a team that helps me with that. And so I batch create like one day a month. I'll bring 10 different outfits and I create a lot in one sitting. And so then they create the content and let it drip out over the month. But we have so many stories about social media, specifically Instagram, because that is where my women entrepreneurs love to play is in Instagram. So it's like, being in groups, being not even technically forward financial, but you can just show up and be authentic and it starts conversations, which then guides them over to, the business side of helping them. So yeah, we've gotten it's interesting. Sometimes I will schedule, like I am a coach, but I also love being coached. And so, I'll work with a coach for a time and one of the coaches that I referred me someone else. And that ended up being a $6 million relationship all through Instagram.
Amazing. So it's not all mass affluent, obviously.
It's not. Think about like, hey, I am a financially independent woman, 8-figure net worth, and I spend a lot of time on social media. So there's a lot of other me's out there.
That's awesome. I know that, and for people that are listening, you can hear the excitement in her voice. Julia's got obviously got a lot of energy, especially to be able to do all this and have a family and all that stuff. But I know that what you told me was what's driving this for you is your purpose, making an
Yeah.
impact.
Yeah.
And I know you want to help people, help them find their soul. You said, tell us about this 1 billion for good vision
Yeah.
that you have in project and the 1,000 entrepreneurs. Want to hear about that.
Okay. Well, I don't think I told you this, but that vision came in. I was on a reality TV show last year.
What?
Yes.
What was it?
I was on something called Writer's Island. So it's actually where I wrote my book, Let's Get You Fired. And the publisher and the producer rented an island in the British Virgin Islands called Ariel Island. And basically 15 authors came there to write their book in a week being filmed. And so
Wow.
it follows the journey of all of the authors. It's not out yet. It should be out in the next probably 3 months. They won't tell us, we don't get very many details. But so every day we did like meditation and like just really thinking about what we wanted to write and what we wanted to bring in. And during one of the sessions, I just heard this like 1 billion for good. And I'm like, oh, okay, what's this? Like, and so it developed into helping 1,000 entrepreneurs grow and scale their business to 8-9 figures. And while they do it, not when they exit, but while they do it, each give $1 million away to their favorite nonprofit. And so if 1,000 entrepreneurs do that, that's $1 billion for good. So one thing, when I look back on my journey, I've always given it, and it was smaller in the beginning, but that was a core value that I've held on to is like, I want to give generously. So, even, after my daughter's accident, I was so grateful for we're a very rural Oregon, like where my office is, there's only 10,000 people. And so we don't have big healthcare here. And so, the fact that they were able to help get her to the hospital, get her life flighted, like saving her life. And so like I wanted to give to our hospital's nonprofit. So my husband and I both serve on the boards and, just giving generously has been a part of our success. And I want other entrepreneurs to feel that. And sometimes you have to learn how to do that and you have to start giving to then you get, like, oh, okay, I understand this principle of giving now. So
Very cool idea.
that's the story.
Yeah. So I guess, I mean, she said, it's not like writing a check for $1 million. It could be 50,000 for 20 years, right? Or something like that.
Right.
And there you
No
go.
time. Yeah. I want it to be right for them. So I just want them. There's a website I have. It's a web page on my website that people just pledge. And so we're working on a tracking because I want to track it as we get, I really want this to be a thing that we can really see the good work that people are doing in the world. Because when good people have money, a lot of good things happen. And I feel like there's not stories of that out there. It's the stories of rich people are greedy, or, like all the things that go wrong in our industry versus all the things that could go right.
So I know you love helping and coaching other people. I know that you like to be coached too, you just said. When did you first start using a coach?
So actually, it was when I moved to LPL. I think my GDC was maybe 100,000 the first year on 25 million. I wasn't advisory. I had to learn how to do advisory. And I remember going to a Prudential wholesaler meeting, and there was the guy that runs Million Dollar Producer. Back then it was called Million Dollar Producer. And he was doing his pitch, and I'm like, I need to learn how to do all that. He was just talking about all the things because I had left my previous broker dealer and I had no community. I was a very little fish in the big LPL ocean. I knew no one. And so I'm like, all right, I'll join this program. And I remember it was $13,000.
Wow.
And I only had made $100,000, right? Like that was a huge check to write.
Oh yeah.
But that put me in the room with people that were, that had built businesses that were a lot more successful than me. And I got into a group of peers that really taught me like, hey, you want to hire and you want to build an employee model. You want to, it's like they just kind of guided me. And that was so instrumental in my success. And I think I was a part of that program for probably like 7 to 8 years. And,
wow.
And then I moved to strategic coach. So that's where I wanted to learn, like, how do I be a better business owner?
Was that Tom Gow, Million Dollar Producer? Was that?
Yes, Tom Gow. That
Yeah.
was Tom Gow. And man, he was a character.
Okay, I never did that, but I knew of that one. So I think it's what a common thread is amongst very successful business people and financial advisors is getting coaching, right?
Yeah.
And it sounds like you made a huge investment early on when you probably really couldn't afford it, but it sounds like it's made a huge impact on your business.
Absolutely.
And now you're doing it for other people. Do you have a lot of advisors that come to you as a part of the coaching?
Yeah.
You have to?
Yeah, about a third of the current mastermind is women advisors. And then the retreats I've done, primarily those have been all women advisors. So I'm going to put it out there. This is the first one in October that it'll be for, we'll see how it fills up, but there's only 7 spots. So it'll be interesting to see if that's going to be just women advisors.
Oh, so you're opening it up for the first time?
The mastermind I'm doing now ends in Hawaii retreat in June, and then October we'll start another one. Yeah.
But you're allowing men to go to this one?
No, this one's just women too. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm just thinking women advisor entrepreneurs and just women entrepreneurs. Yeah.
I see. Do you coach men though? Not on the retreat business, but the coaching business?
In our Freedom Business Solutions, we do.
You do.
Yep. And we're probably going to develop a group program for that, because what I have found, coaching one-on-one is very different than a group coaching. And there's some magic that happens in a group coaching because that person has to listen.
Yeah.
As opposed to a lot of one-on-one is a lot of like therapy.
Interesting.
Yeah. So It's just, it's, and both is appropriate, but I just find that the people that have been in my retreats and the group coaching actually do much better, quicker than the one-on-one. So
Back in 2009, did you ever see yourself being a top Barron's Forbes advisor, getting the recognition that you do today, like top in the state, that kind of a thing?
I want to say that I had the vision. Like I had a Barron's Women advisor. Like I still have it on my gym at home on my cork board, right? And I had put that there probably 2008, 2000 or 2009, 2010 when I moved to LPL. I don't know if I actually believed it, but I did have big visions. I don't think I had this big of vision, but I did want to go for it. Yeah.
And now you still have a lot of years left in this business, I'm assuming. So you're not going to quit soon. So I know you want to get to $1 billion of assets that you guys run and manage for your clients, but is there anything besides that in terms of what you're thinking about for your business?
Yes, and more than I think the billion is just going to happen, right? It's probably going to
Right.
happen in the next couple of years, and so I think more than that is the impact, right? Is getting. I'm trying to now, like, I'm working on how do I weave this 1 billion for good within my firm, within our clients now. Is it a foundation? Is it? I don't think it's a nonprofit. So it's just like, I'm answering all those questions. It's like my goal was always to become financially independent. And now that I'm financially independent, I'll be 50 next year. I'm like, okay, what else? Like, what is going to keep me engaged and playing the game? And because frankly, I don't have to anymore, right? Like
Yeah.
I could check out, but there's also like, there's this inner calling to me of like, I'm working differently now. Yes. But just as hard as when I was, back doing 30 appointments a week. It's just now it's not just with clients. It's more at an impact level. It's more at a business level. It's doing a lot of speaking and building my personal brand out in the world.
Well, I can tell. I mean, you're busy, but I can tell you're just doing something that you really love to do, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and you're good at. So, obviously that it doesn't take energy away; it gives you energy, right?
Absolutely. And doing it a way that's fulfilling. So it was like, okay, I didn't want to run retreats all over the world. I wanted to own my own home that I could host a retreat in. And so it's like, hey, that's blessing our family. We're able to have family there and other events at our new place. And so it's like, yeah, it's doing what I love, but it's also leading the life that I love as well.
Wow. And you just get clients by advertising on your social media and doing things like that, and that's how
Yeah.
the people sign up. Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. I know a lot of advisors think they should be doing social media and they kind of relate success to whether they get likes or not and things like that. But a lot of advisors, even ones that are active on social media, they're not generating any business out of it. So do you have any tips for people in that regard? I know that you're building a brand, obviously, and that's one of the things
Yeah.
you love to do it. And so it's not like
Yeah.
heavy lifting for you. But what advice would you give to people around social media and marketing?
Yeah. So number one is you got to play in your lane. So what do you enjoy doing, and where do you enjoy engaging? So for me, it's not that I'm engaging on my page. Like I'm in women entrepreneur groups. I'm connecting with people that I find inspiring. And so you so if it's health, like I know our mutual friend Anne is very much into health, and so like her putting that out there, she's authentic, she's doing what she loves, and she's going to naturally attract that back to her. And so find what gives you joy is what I would say, and then just think of it as playful. And it's not going to work if you're pitching people, right? It's more of like engaging, being curious, asking questions, engaging on other people's posts, which then brings them into your world. And so if you're constantly pitching your services, it's not going to work. And actually they will ban you on the algorithm if they do that. And so it's like, how do you actually create real value connected to your purpose, your favorite client that you love to serve? Like, how do you just create content for them? And so it's easier than people think, I think, but it's also, you have to spend time there too. Yeah.
And for you, Instagram is what's worked the best, right? Because that's where your prospects and clients are that are interested in that.
Yeah, I find LinkedIn is very, like, a lot of my friends are on LinkedIn. I'm very, like, it's all other financial advisors. So that's actually works really great for thinking about filling my mastermind or my retreats. That LinkedIn works really well. But for clients, we've found Instagram and Facebook.
Facebook too. Okay. How often are you posting on Instagram and Facebook? Is it every day or
Every
daily?
day.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Every
what I found.
day. Yeah.
Yeah, people that are successful at it, like you, it's a religion. It's something every single day, and consistency, right, matters.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, I would say you can't be a cookie cutter. So if you think like the FMGs and the Snappy Krakens, like they're just pushing content on your feed, that's not going to work.
Right.
Like you need to show up. And it's so much easier than people think. Like, having somebody video what I'm doing right now, and then you put a caption on it, right? Like people want a glimpse into your world. And what I find is that when people come into the office or at an event, they like come up and hug me, and I'm like, whoa, I don't even know this person. But it's like, because they know me. They know, how's Jazz? Like, she's showing up. Like, your husband's so funny. And it's because they build that know, like, and trust factor online. It's a, what do they call it? Like a parasocial or para something relationship. Like they have a relationship with you, but you don't know it because they're not saying anything. And so it's very interesting how that naturally builds trust and translate into a relationship then.
One of the questions I was going to ask you is if you weren't a financial advisor or in wealth management, what would you do? But I think you're doing it. Are you, or are there other things you think that you might get into down the road that you're thinking about already?
Yeah. So one thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to become what's called a breathwork facilitator. So I've had some very transformational experiences doing breathwork, and I want to do that and hold that container for my clients at the retreats. And so I'm going to learn that this summer.
That's awesome. You're just,
it would be like this health, wealth, business, I'm doing it. I love what I do.
Yeah. You're always innovating and growing. Let's talk about mistakes. What are some of the mistakes that you think you've made over your career that you would tell advisors, not to repeat?
Yeah. So not firing myself soon enough.
Okay.
Yeah. So trying to think that I have to be the one to do it all.
Okay.
And even transferring clients to another advisor, like that's probably the biggest sticking point where, an advisor grows, they bring on another advisor, but now they have to transition relationships. And so that was like very hard on me because I felt like I was disappointing my clients. I felt like, they needed me as much as I needed them. And that actually wasn't the case. So it's like, if you just have real conversations like, hey, I brought Matt in, I've trained him. I trust him. I'm still here. Like, if you need to talk to me, I am a phone call away. I'm your advocate, but I feel like Matt's going to be a really great advisor with you in your reviews. And so if I knew now what I know now, I would have done it a lot sooner. Like I held on to that a lot longer than I needed.
Right. So I'm sure regardless of the advisor that they're working with at Freedom Financial, that the experience should be similar, right? The portfolios are similar, the financial planning experience is similar, the service model is similar, right? So
yeah,
that's cool. So if you meet somebody that wants to become a big client or new client, and they've got whatever in assets, do you take on new clients personally, or do you now kind of position that with your team usually?
Yeah, so I'll position that. I'll have another, like yesterday, I did a first appointment, and that was like uh, the first time in a very long time. But it's like, okay, Haley and I will be both meeting, and then naturally they take over that relationship. Yeah, if it's a business, like where I want to be spending my time is in the Freedom Business Solutions. So I'll work really closely with a business owner, especially in the first 90 days, like helping them get their strategic plan, their numbers, their reports, like get the idea of what we're going to do for them. And then I'll move them over to another consultant in that world. But then often that will be where they also bring business to financial freedom.
Do you have a favorite business planning or strategic planning template for business owners that you offer or like to use?
We did EOS for many years,
Hmm.
and then I started working with ClientWise. So Ray Sclafani is my coach now. I don't know if
Ah,
you know Ray. Yeah, he's awesome, and he actually like checked me a little bit, which I really really appreciated because EOS is great. It will help you like get organized and scale. But what I found is like we weren't doing the big strategic planning and going really deep in that. And so we actually started working with a strategic advisor quarterly that yes does all the EOS stuff, but it just takes it further in building like a big strategic plan for your firm and like a staffing plan. Like we know exactly where we're going to be 5 years from now, and have that all detailed out. And we wouldn't have gotten that level of detail if we just stayed with EOS. And so, you know, I'm familiar with scaling up, EOS, strategic coach. So I've kind of like taken like the best from all of that and created my own version, which is in Let's Get You Fired. Is some tools in there to help business owners.
I was going to ask you how you get clients for that business consulting. Is it through writing the books? Is it social media? Is it similar approach, or how do you get clients to that?
Yeah, typically what will happen is the retreats and the group program, they will actually become one-on-one. So they need so we'll help with recruiting, we'll help with hiring, we'll help with firing. So if we call it the emergency HR 911, they need that support. I've got an amazing HR person on my team, and so it's like sometimes it often starts like just in a consulting, like, hey, help me fill this role, and then it moves into like a retainer model. And then another one of our great clients in that came from the wealth management side. They're have launching a pretty successful resort and just need help building out the infrastructure of that.
How did that business get started? I think I might have seen that you might have a partner that is there a different individual that runs that business with you or for you?
Jennifer, yeah. So I started it. It was born out of the coaching. It was born out of like wanting to help more with entrepreneurs. But then Jennifer on my team, who's our VP of People and Operations in the wealth management firm, she's the one that does a lot of the consulting, the people consulting in the consulting firm.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. So that business, the business consulting is part of your 20-person group too?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Wow. You are very innovative and very creative also on marketing and the deliverables. And so I mean, I can see a client of yours has business consulting. It could be, a lot of other stuff that you're doing for the retreat. They could be a wealth management client. You could be doing their tax return.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very sticky.
Yeah, I imagine some of those are very sticky and you're helping out a lot in a lot of different ways in managing a portfolio, right? And so,
Yeah. And we're actually working on a hub page that has like the freedom ecosystem, and has links to all that information. So people kind of paint the picture and can understand easier how we can serve our clients. Yeah.
wow, it's almost at the top of the hour. So an hour went by pretty quickly. I can probably ask you more questions and you probably had great hours for another answers for another hour of content. But that being said, is there anything else you think that financial advisors need to be thinking about? Things that we maybe didn't talk about today, just issues about our industry. or, it could be, I don't know, is AI, for example, something that you're thinking about a
Yeah.
lot? What's your view on that?
Yeah, it's interesting because I went on a retreat last week with a friend, and she's like the AI queen, and I was showing her, like, I built the dashboard. It's called the Freedom Dashboard. It's in my book. It's what I implement within the mastermind, and I showed her that, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, Julia, we could vibe code this. Like, do you know what vibe coding is?"
No.
No, you take like a dashboard, a dashboard is a glorified Excel spreadsheet, and you put it into AI and they vibe code it, which just means like you're basically building your own app.
Mm.
And within an hour, she had my whole dashboard built into a website that people access via login. I mean, we're still testing it. This was only last week. And it's like they gamified it. They took quotes from my books because we uploaded my books into AI and said, hey, use her quotes to keep people energized and motivated. And I was like blown away. And
Wow.
I'm like, wow. So, you have to adopt AI. Like Jump is a great example. You have to be careful in our industry, obviously, with the PII, but it's like, this is the future. Like, we don't know even how it will impact us, but humans are always going to want other humans. And so that connection is real. I feel like however you build your ecosystem of serving your clients, like that human touch and engagement and serving them has to be a part of that, because that's where I think AI potentially would disrupt. So how do you differentiate yourself from another firm, is especially in your geographical area or where you're competitive in, is really important.
How would you describe your business and in terms of differentiation, professional contrast?
Yeah, well, I would say number one, our team. So we really truly are this team approach where clients, like, I had a review yesterday with a client, and she's like, one of my CSA team is like, she's my soul sister, right? Like we talk all the time, and so like my clients are very close with our team, and it's like we full service, with relationships where we go deep with our clients. And I would probably say a lot of advisors say that, but the proof is in the referrals, the acknowledgments that you get, like all of those things. But then also I think the differentiator is this ecosystem that we're building, so that we can serve more high level entrepreneurs, that we can do exit planning and philanthropic work with them. And so we can, like, it's all inclusive of serving them really well. And I feel like that brand is the differentiator.
That's amazing. Well, I don't have anything more to ask you. I really appreciate you sharing all that you have. It's amazing what you've done. I'm really excited, actually, to see what this next 5 to 10 years looks like, 3 to 5 years. And because I think you're going to continue to innovate and, continue to evolve your business into making it even more special than it is, I bet you. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. For those that want to get your books, I'm assuming that they're available on your website or Amazon.
Yeah, they're available at Amazon. And my website is thejuliacarlson.com.
Okay. If somebody wants to get a hold of you, is that a place to go and leave a message there maybe? And if they're interested in becoming a client or something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. At the Julia Carlson. And then all my social media handles are the Julia Carlson as well. So they can DM me, as you're going to get me in my DMs. I haven't delegated that.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Hers and his, three's company too. Come and dance on our floor.